Hi, this is Willie Nelson from NORML. For 30 years, NORML has provided a voice for the millions of Americans who smoke marijuana responsibly. More than 500,000 Americans are arrested each year for smoking pot. These are ordinary citizens like you and me, whose lives and careers are being needlessly destroyed. To learn how you can help, contact NORML at www.norml.org or call toll-free at 888-67-NORML.
And distributed by the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws in Washington, D.C. This is your daily audio stash, the growing truth about cannabis. Welcome to the most popular audio podcast regarding marijuana in all of America and all the world, featuring interviews with scientists, politicians, doctors, prohibition policy activists, regular cannabis consumers, musicians, and NORML staff and NORML's board of directors, along with music and comedy no other podcast can offer. You can always find out more about the show at our website, NORMLAudiostash.com. We're ending marijuana prohibition with education, one listener at a time. Welcome back to NORML's Daily Audio Stash on this scorching summer Tuesday. It's August 7th. I'm your host, Chris Goldstein. Take a moment to join us at NORML to help end senseless marijuana prohibition in America. We can do it together, but legalization won't happen without your support, folks. So make sure you get involved today. Join NORML or make a donation to NORML today at NORML.org. Oh, a lot of people are sending in their emails for 3 Cottonmouth King CDs. Everyone's still got a shot at winning some Cottonmouth King CDs. We're going to do that drawing later on today after this podcast is released. And we got a new set of giveaways today. Are you an urban cowboy? Herbin, an urban cowboy? Well, there are a lot of urban cowboys out there. I used to live in New Mexico. I know a few urban cowboys out in New Mexico, and I can think of a couple thousand urban cowboys that are going to be in Austin, Texas this Friday for the Austin Freedom Fest. You can get your tickets to the Austin Freedom Fest at austinfreedomfest.com. And today on the program, we got some urban cowboy t-shirts to give away. That way you can be an urban cowboy even if you're not in Texas or New Mexico or in the Southwest. You could be an urban cowboy anywhere in the country. We're going to speak with Glinda from urbanroots.com about the urban cowboy t-shirts we're giving away today. More about that later in the program. Also, in the show today, we have a legend of country western music, Ray Benson from Asleep at the Wheel. You can check them out online. We've got links to them up on our website today at normalaudiostash.com. We're going to get to speak to Ray about the Austin Freedom Fest. He'll be on stage for that this Friday. And also about the special relationship of cannabis with country western music. And there is quite a relationship there, folks. We're not just getting the chance to speak with Ray today. We're going to hear some music from Asleep at the Wheel, a little preview what's going to happen under the big sky in Texas this Friday, August 10th. So Ray Benson, Asleep at the Wheel here today on the Audio Stash. Also today, Glinda from Urban Roots Productions. Tomorrow on the program, we'll have Dr. Mitch Earlywine in our regular cannabis science segment. We'll also speak with Valerie Corral, the director of the Women's Alliance for Medical Marijuana in California. And on Thursday, we get the chance to speak with Carolyn Wonderland and listen to some great tunes from Carolyn as well. All that's happening this week right here on your Daily Audio Stash, NORML's Daily Audio Stash podcast. First up today, we've got important news from NORML. Our news today. DEA seeks details of Oregon's medical marijuana registry. Federal officials are seeking information regarding several members of Oregon's state-run medical cannabis program. As part of a recent DEA crackdown against patients and medical marijuana providers in Oregon, Federal authorities have issued subpoenas to the Oregon Department of Health and the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation. That's a group that employs doctors who prescribe marijuana to patients under the Oregon law. The DEA is seeking medical records and other information on 17 specific patients. The ongoing federal grand jury is also looking into the raid of an outspoken 71-year-old medical cannabis advocate, Don DuPay. In 1998, Oregon voters passed the medical marijuana law that allows patients and designated caregivers to cultivate marijuana for medical use. Patients and caregivers must register with the state and are issued special cards for the program. According to the website of the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, which is part of the state government, there are 14,868 current registered patients, 7,115 registered patient caregivers who can grow cannabis for patients, and over 2,900 physicians who have written a medical marijuana recommendation. Last week, the state of Oregon and the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation filed motions in court to stop the subpoena. The Portland Tribune reported last week that a federal judge has taken the matter under advisement after a hearing last Wednesday afternoon. The DEA's activity in Oregon highlights the federal government's recent focus on medical marijuana patients and medical marijuana supply operations, and the fact that such activity is not taking place solely in California. The recent DEA activity also highlights the need to change federal law so that existing state medical cannabis programs and patients can be fully protected from arrest and prosecution.
You're listening to NORML's Daily Audio Stash.
Today on the Audio Stash, we got the chance to sit down with a legend of country western music and the man who pulled together the benefit concert for marijuana reform groups happening this Friday, August 10th in Austin, Texas. Joining us today is Ray Benson from Asleep at the Wheel, the group currently touring with Willie Nelson. Ray owns Bismo Productions and Studios in Austin, Texas, and has been performing on tour for over 30 years. He first opened for Alice Cooper and Hot Tuna in 1969. More recently, Ray and the Wheel have been on stadium tours with folks like Bob Dylan. In 2004, Ray was officially named the 2004 Texas State Musician. He then went on to co-write the musical A Ride with Bob, which included members of Asleep at the Wheel in the story of Bob Wills, which in 2006 played to a standing ovation at the Kennedy Center in Washington, and that audience included the President and First Lady in attendance. Ray, along with Willie Nelson, have arranged this marijuana reform benefit concert in Austin, Texas on Friday. We got a chance to speak with Ray about the event. Ray, it's a great privilege to welcome you here to the Audio Stash today.
Very good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to speak with you today, Ray. First, tell us how the Austin Freedom Fest came about.
Well, I was sitting on the bus with Willie and said, you know, there's a bunch of organizations that are doing great work in trying to change the laws on marijuana. NORML, MPP, all of the people in California who are struggling right now with the terrible, situation with the federal government. I said, we need to step up to the plate and do something for all of these people who are working towards, a common goal of stopping this insane treatment of this drug. So he said, okay, well, let's do a concert. How about August 10th? And I said, okay, let's go, Will. He's a good friend of mine, and we both feel very strongly about this issue. So we're still setting it up. We need help in getting the word out because nobody's promoting it. This is a grassroots, no pun intended, concert. There's no promoter. The Backyard in Austin gave us the facility at a reduced rate, but we still have to raise the money to just pay for some of the things, and we want everybody to know that this is what this is all about, the Austin Freedom Fest.
Right on, Ray. Now, having this event in Austin really has special meaning. It's the state capital there in Texas. The South by Southwest Music Festival happens there each year, and there's also a certain feel to Austin to promote marijuana reform.
Yes, when I first came to Texas, you could go to jail for a joint for, 18 years, And over the years, we've had a seesaw kind of mentality on pot. At times, it's a misdemeanor for certain amounts, a wink and a nod in certain things. But we have good friends, productive citizens who are serving time in jail for weed cultivation and/or possession, and seems to me a bit insane and wasteful. And we have many people down here. Twice we've tried to get a medical marijuana bill passed in our state, and can't get anywhere with the Texas legislature because they're mostly. Although we had one very good Republican senator who agreed to co-sponsor a bill.
Ray, there's always been this close association with country western music and rock and roll. Musicians like yourself, Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash, have cemented those associations. Now, while many folks think of marijuana being a part of rock and roll culture, does that familiarity with cannabis also have some roots in country western music culture as well? You know, what does marijuana mean in that culture?
Well, if you want to go back to the history, of course, it's been smoked by many Western musicians, Mexican, obviously, musicians. The Mexican culture brought marijuana to Texas many years ago. And just listen to the words of La Cucaracha. In the world of country music, I won't name names, but we probably all know them all. As long as I've been in this business, hillbillies have smoked pot, and most, and some of the great humor, of course, comes from it. And then again, you get into the 60s and 70s with the Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen and the kind of whatever we would want to call hippie country bands, of course. They had the great song "Down the Seeds and Stems Again" blues, So it's always been there. And then there's a great. You go back to the 30s. A guy named Smokey Wood and the Wood Chips, and he was a Western swing band in Texas, and grew up with Woody Guthrie, and wrote songs with Woody Guthrie. But then was very much a Western swing band, and he was a great advocate of the weed, and just a great Western swing artist, totally forgotten. So the history of it goes way back, as with jazz and blues and whatnot. The bottom line is that a lot of Louis Armstrong, a great advocate of smoking the weed. The greatest, some of the greatest musicians of all times have smoked the weed. And again, we always say the same thing. If it does good for you, you do it. If it doesn't, stay away from it, by golly. So some musicians don't. There's some things but it lends itself to certain things. Of course, I knew the Grateful Dead guys and all the Bay Area kind of guys, and that was an obvious one,
Ray, one of your studio stars from Bismo Studios, has been a great friend of marijuana reform, performing at a number of concerts around the country. She was also on stage at the High Times Doobie Awards at the South by Southwest Music Festival this year. We're talking about Carolyn Wonderland. We featured some of her tracks right here on the program, and we're speaking with her in an interview Thursday, actually. But, Ray, how did you find Carolyn? She's just an incredible talent.
Carolyn, a guy gave me a tape of hers 6 years ago. Was that? Oh gosh, yeah, 6-7 years ago. When she was just in her early 20s from Houston, and she eventually moved up here. And then I just got friendly with her because she's such a talent. And then I was with Bob Dylan one day, and he asked me about her because he had seen her on a little local TV thing that he was playing here. So I introduced them, and I said, "Come on, girl, let's get out." So I got a record deal. Unfortunately, the damn record company dissolved before we finished the record, but we were just about to put it out. She's an amazing gal. She's a committed gal. She's done not only that, she went to jail protesting the Iraq war when it was not popular to do that. She's a very committed artist, but more than that, I call her Janis Joplin, Stevie Ray Vaughan with Janis Joplin's chops. Amazing gal, and like I said, a very committed citizen and a gentle soul.
And Ray, tell us a bit about the Austin area and this venue, the Backyard, especially for folks who may be visiting Austin for the first time just for this concert.
First of all, it's August the 10th, which means that it's going to be hot. The Backyard is a gorgeous little jewel that's stuck in the middle of a big old shopping center, which used to be open land, but at least the backyard survived with big oak trees surrounding a huge concert stage and great food and Texas hospitality. And it's out about 30 minutes outside of Austin in what we call the area around Lake Travis. You can come out. They have, jam bands play there, like Widespread Panic does 3 days there every July. Willie does 2 or 3 days every March. All the big groups play there because it's a wonderful venue. And if you're going to spend a weekend there, you're out at the lake. And the lake is Lake Travis, and you can go boating. And this is the wettest year Texas has seen in 100 years. So it'll be gorgeous down there, and there's a whole series of lakes that you can go boating and fishing on.
Right, Ray. Well, thank you so much for taking time to join us here today.
Well, to all y'all who are doing the really good fight to change these ridiculous laws, we really applaud your efforts and basically ask all the people around the country to work together to change the government's insane policies of jailing pot prisoners. So, amen. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but amen.
That was Ray Benson of Asleep at the Wheel. He helped pull together the Austin Freedom Fest happening this Friday, August 10th. You can get tickets to the Austin Freedom Fest at austinfreedomfest.com. We have links to it at normalaudiostash.com. We've also got links to Bismo Productions and Asleep at the Wheel's websites. We're going to listen to some Asleep at the Wheel right now. Here's the single version of Am I Right or Amarillo from Asleep at the Wheel. We have links to them up on our website today at normalaudiostash.com.
We started out with good intentions, making love right there in the kitchen. You and me were getting along just fine, got along just fine. More than crazy about one another. I was your man and you were my lover. Glad that I was yours and you were mine. Now for a while I could do no wrong. You laughed at my jokes and you danced to my song. Not too bad for an Amarillo country boy, Panhandle country boy. I said if we could just stay together, it could be just like this forever. Finer things in life we would enjoy. You told me you thought that I was wrong. Said our love it wouldn't last too long. I don't want to leave you all alone. So should I stay? Should I go back home? Am I right or Amarillo? Do I stay here with you or hit the road? Am I right or Amarillo? I love you, but I can't always go back home. Soon it was just like I figured. You told me that you'd reconsider. I could stay with you and be your man, be your loving man. But now it seems there's a brand new problem. Country boys learn their lessons when they're taught them. I've learned about as much as I can stand. Now I'm the one that thinks that I was wrong. I don't think our love is gonna last too long. I hate to leave you all alone, but Texas is calling me back home. Am I right or Amarillo? Do I stay here with you or hit the road? Am I right or Amarillo? I love you, but I can't always go back home. Be as flat as a pancake, but how much heartache can one man take? Amarillo, we've been too long apart, been too long apart. But there's no need for me to keep on talking. If I'm a-going, I'd better start walking. Am I right or Amarillo never broke my heart? Love, love.
was Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel with that single track, Am I Right or Amarillo? You can actually find that online for download up at the Independent Online Distribution Alliance, and we have links directly to Asleep at the Wheel up on our website today at normalaudiostash.com.
755,000. That is a big number to be sure, but do you know what this number represents? It signifies the total number of citizens in America arrested on marijuana charges in 2004. That's right. 755,000 of your fellow citizens were arrested on marijuana charges. That's an arrest every 40 seconds. And 9 out of 10 of those arrested are for possession-only charges. Does continuing marijuana prohibition make sense to you? It certainly does not to the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws and its members. I'm NORML's Executive Director, Alan St. Pierre, and if you too think that it is high time to end marijuana prohibition and replace it with a tax and regulate policy, please join and support NORML's 36-year legislative efforts to reform our country's misguided marijuana laws. You can learn more about NORML or become an active supporter by calling toll-free 888-67-NORML, N-O-R-M-L, or by visiting us on the web at NORML, NORML.org.
It's time to send in your emails for our free stuff giveaway today. We're giving away some great t-shirts today. They say Urban Cowboy, H-E-R-B-I-N Cowboy. That's right. Everyone on the Audio Stash today has the chance to be an urban cowboy or cowgirl with these t-shirts we're giving away. You can check out the logos right up on our website at normalaudiostash.com. So send those emails to freestuff@normalaudiostash.com. That's freestuff@normalaudiostash.com. Make sure to put Urban Cowboy, H-E-R-B-I-N Cowboy, into the subject line for these t-shirts. It's really an awesome giveaway today. We've only got 4 to give away. They're all of different sizes. You're just going to have to take what comes to you, just like the cowboys out on the open plains, the urban cowboys out there. Joining us today is the creator and trademark holder of the Urban Cowboy design, Glinda. She's donated a number of shirts for NORML to give away, not just the ones here on the podcast, but also to sell at events like the Austin Freedom Fest. Glinda, welcome here to the Audio Stash today.
Thank you, Chris.
Great to speak with you today, Glinda. Now, tell us how you came up with this wonderful logo and phrase, the Urban Cowboy.
Well, I can't mention any names, but I am from down in South Alabama, down in Mobile, and it was Mardi Gras about 4 years ago. And we had been out to a Mardi Gras ball and just had a wonderful night. And I came down the stairs and I looked out, and my friend was standing on his back deck in his cowboy boots that he had worn to the ball and his boxer shorts, and he was kind of token down. And I looked out, and I'm like, what are you doing, Urban Cowboy? And we kind of looked at each other and just had this aha moment. And it was like, oh, I have to do that. And so I researched it for about a year, kind of mulled it over, just see if it was a viable business, and just kept coming up with yeses because it's a really just a witty tagline, and I've come up with so many awesome phrases and, you know, different things to put with urban. And I started the trademarking process, and that's taken about 2 years, and that's enough to make you pull your hair out right there. So, and it's finally complete, and we now can go forward, and it's awesome.
Right on, Glinda. Now, you sell retail through the website Urban Roots, H-E-R-B-I-N Roots.com. We have links to it at normalaudiostash.com. And I know you also travel around the country and sell the Urban Cowboy brand at shows. Let me ask, what concerts have you been to so far this year?
This year, I've been to probably 3 or 4 of the widespread shows. I went to Stagecoach. I've kind of traveled around to see Willie a few times. I'm pretty close to Nashville, and so whenever he's in the South, I'm always, you know, getting in the car and going to see him. I went to Bonnaroo. That was my latest thing, and that was awesome. We had the best response at Bonnaroo. I just was overwhelmed. My head's still a little big from it. So.
Right on. And you also offer wholesale prices on the Urban Cowboy design for other vendors out there.
Oh, absolutely. There's a link on our website. There's just like a little wholesale. Just click on wholesale, and we will, you know, get your information, and yeah, I'll be happy to do that.
Well, Glenda, I just want to thank you again for your donation here to NORML. We just so appreciate the support with great giveaways like this. Thank you so much for these T-shirts. And many thanks for joining us here today on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome.
Glinda created the Urban Cowboy T-shirt and logo line. You can find it online at urbanroots.com. That's HERBINROOTS.com. We have links to it on our website today at normalaudiostash.com. Do you want to be an urban cowboy or urban cowgirl? Make sure to send your email to freestuff@normalaudiostash.com. That's freestuff@normalaudiostash.com. We're giving away 4 of these shirts today, and we can all be urban cowboys down in Texas on Friday. Make sure to get your urban cowboy T-shirt on and get your tickets to the Austin Freedom Fest. Down in Austin, you can see Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel. We got one more tune from these guys. Here's Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel with Papa Wheelie off their newest album, Reinventing the Wheel. We have links to Asleep at the Wheel on our website today at normalaudiostash.com. Was Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel with Papa Wheelie off the Reinventing the Wheel album. We have links to those guys right up on our website at normalaudiostash.com. Make sure to send in your emails to freestuff@normalaudiostash.com for your Urban Cowboy T-shirts. 4 lucky winners will get an Urban Cowboy T-shirt. They are different sizes. Gotta take what you're gonna get, but that's what a real Urban Cowboy does out there, folks. And make sure to get your tickets on Friday to join all the Urban Cowboys under the big sky in Austin, Texas. At the Backyard venue, you'll hear Willie Nelson, Paula Nelson, Ray Benson and Asleep at the Wheel, Carolyn Wonderland, Megan Tubb, and others on stage in a benefit for NORML, MPP, and WHAM, the Women's Alliance for Medical Marijuana. Right here on the program tomorrow, we'll speak with Valerie Corral, the co-founder of WHAM. And we'll also have our regular cannabis science segment with Dr. Mitch Earlywine. Everyone, have a great Tuesday afternoon. We'll be back at 4:20 tomorrow. You've been listening to NORML's Daily Audio Stash, the growing truth about cannabis. Make sure
sure you visit our website at normalaudiosstash.com. That's NORMLAUDIOSTASH.com for more information about every day's show. I'm your host, Chris Goldstein. Thanks for listening today. See you at 4:20 tomorrow. Podcasting technology of NORML is made possible by Red Aphid Interactive Media. More information at redapphid.com.